Hi, creative writing students. It's Jesi Vega. It's June 10th, and we're coming up on the end of the school year. I hope some of you have been watching these videos and doing some writing during our unusual semester. We started off with seeing our world turned upside down by the pandemic, and it's been turned upside down once again by Black Lives Matter protests, protesting the murders of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and here in Tacoma, Manuel Ellis. So there's been a lot to take in, and I hope for those of you who are drawn to writing as an art form and a form of self-expression that you have been using the opportunity to journal and write your feelings about these things. Writing is a huge and powerful tool for social change. It always has been. When I was feeling down in the last couple of days, I started listening to Hamilton again, which is a story about someone who uses writing to bring about huge social change and who's part of a movement that uses his writing to persuade and inspire people. So know that it's a great resource you have if you're able to write about what's going on. And in fact, that's what I want to use as a topic for this week's class. Last week I took a class called Writing for Social Action, which was facilitated by a writer in New York City named Vanessa Martir. And she inspired me to put together some questions, inspired by the questions she used for our class, that you can use to use your writing as a way to convey things that are important to you. So the questions that she presented to the writers in the class, there's 8 questions, and I'm actually going to put them in the Microsoft Teams this week so you can see them. So how you start is you ask what's important to you. And then you ask what stories from your own experience revolve around what matters to you most. How did these things become important to you? What have you witnessed or experienced personally? What change would you like to see in the world regarding what matters to you? How would you like your writing to potentially affect change? How can your writing affect change? And if you're writing if you're writing a personal essay, or even if you're writing fiction and you want to go more in depth to something that matters to you, is there research that you can do? And where can you do it? And if you are going to do research, one of the tips that she had that was really helpful for me is keep your research focused to questions that you might have. And having a set of questions and then giving yourself a set amount of time to research them can keep you from going down a crazy rabbit hole that keeps you away from your writing. So, like I said, I'm going to post those pictures in the Microsoft Teams page. I'm going to post those questions. But I also am going to use a piece of my writing that I did in this workshop last week as an example of something that you can do. And I want to talk a little bit about it after I read it, to explain a little bit of my process and how it might apply to your own writing. So here's my sample. My dad's relatives live in houses and have dining rooms, but at Abuela's we eat at a small table pushed into a corner of the living room. It's next to a window that opens into a fire escape facing a brick wall. The window is always open, blasting cold air into the stifling, overheated apartment in winter. In summer, a box fan propped on the sill rhythmically blows, puffs, and chugs heavy, humid air in from the alleyway. And I hear voices echoing between brick walls, rising up to the second floor from the concrete below. Indecipherable Spanish, accented English, rapid-fire Spanglish. The vinyl on Abuela's chairs is so sticky that every time I stand up, it's like peeling giant Band-Aids off my bare thighs. So I stay seated for as long as I can and try to cool my legs by shifting my position, but only slightly to minimize the pain. There's no way around it. Abuela's chairs always hurt my ass in summer. No one looks at me. Mom and Abuela speak to each other in Spanish. I'm 6, I'm 10, I'm 16, I'm 21, but I never grow up. It's always the same. Rice beans and plátanos in front of me, maybe pollo, and maybe if it's Christmas season, or I'm lucky and there were leftovers in the freezer, gandules. Vinegar and Spanish olive oil float in a glass pitcher, ready to be splashed over crystalline iceberg lettuce leaves and aguacate in a white bowl. A la abuela's, there isn't enough language to carry me along, and when I try to speak, she laughs and talks so quickly I can't understand. Then abuelo laughs and pats me on the shoulder. Then Yvette laughs and speaks back to me in English. Sensation overwhelms me, the sound of the fan, the smell of hot concrete, the voices I don't understand, and my own ever-shrinking, transparent inessentialness. I'm here, I want to say. But no one sees me. What is wrong with these people? Do they not know I'm one of them? Is my skin color too pale in winter? Do my words make me sound too much like my father's daughter? Am I too tall to belong? So I wrote this piece answering the first question, what is important to me? So one of the things that's important to me is structural racism, colonialism, and family trauma. Those are three of the things that are important to me. So what stories from my own experience revolve around these things that matter? What have I witnessed or experienced personally? So I just started to dig in my memories, and I came up with this sort of general memory of being at my abuela's house, my grandma's house, growing up. What was interesting about writing this piece is that it's not directly related to social change or social action. And that surprised me because I do have a lot of pain and a lot of desire for racial and socioeconomic justice that's tied to my childhood. So this is just the beginning of a potential story. But what was interesting to me about it was the more that I dug in, the more things that I remembered. And it took me away from, ideas of philosophy and activism to something that's very specific. So I don't know where this story will go, but one thing I can say about it is it's very authentic, and it really gave me a sense of this character, which I hope that you got, like my young self feeling invisible in a family in which she felt she didn't belong because she was too pale, too tall, and spoke English too well. So yeah, it's just like scraping the surface of what's possible when you look at social change. So I would ask you, especially now, like if you do care about Black Lives Matter, if racial equity is something that inspires you, and I hope it does, to look into your own life and just to see, where did you get your ideas about racial justice or injustice? Where did your family place you in this great story, this great struggle that we have here in the United States? So, this is kind of a shorter piece than we've done before, but I just wanted to leave you with these questions and to remind you that you can use your own life to reflect upon justice and injustice, and you can use your own writing to reflect on those things, to bring about change, to change people's minds. And that's about it. I would love, again, to read your writing. I haven't gotten almost any writing this semester, and I don't know that you've actually been watching my videos. But I've been making them, and I've been thinking about you, and I'll be back next semester with creative writing fiction and creative writing screenwriting style. So that's it. Signing off. I love you. I miss you. Keep writing. Bye.